My goodness. Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. The light keeps getting brighter and brighter. To get to play together like this and look so easily at these denials. Woohoo, let it be light. And it is light. And okay, so oh my gosh. Someone told me, oh, you're so irreverent and reverent and irreverent at the same time. Bless your heart for sending me that note. Because we have to be a little bit light about this, very light about it. Intent with the looking, convicted at what we're doing. To see, first of all, we start with the light of infinite being. What could be more happy than that? To see that we're light. And then, and I asked Jesus, can I say this? And he said, yes, I can say it. So I'm going to say it. We're miraculously constipated. We have a backup of miracles that we want to really. Now, let me tell you, if you think something serious is arising, you just think about that. That's going to change everything. We're just here to release the miracles. That's all there is. We're just backed up on miracles. And the Holy Spirit's just greasing those skids to get those things moving, to see. They're holding on too tight to that personal identity, just so tight we have to relax. So, no taking ourselves too seriously here, really. That's why the world's going to end in happy laughter, because we see in the light, no, there's nothing happening unless we desire an experience for it's happening. That's why we keep looking at what's we think's happening to see nothing's happening. Oh, Jesus is leading the way through this maze. In the light of divine being and honesty of God, do we need the light to help us? We can listen for the light to remind us. Yes, we need all the help that we can ask for. And just a really beautiful thing today, too, we were talking, I can't remember what we were talking about in the circle, but somehow it came up because after this meeting, we'll meet and continue to look at denials together, which we're really encouraging everyone, since we have this light brigade going. Jesus is going nonstop joining, keep joining. If something arises in mind, if we can join with you, but most of the beings who are on that iMessage group has said they are willing to join. And so, ask for a buddy and then buddy up and just continue looking. And it really came that we are light and that we can see the light, that the light is in every fragment. Because there's no fragmentation. We're just using that term because there's a desire for the experience of fragmentation. So it seems like we're fragmented. But when it seems like something's arising and we're so fully present with it and let it arise in the light, the desire, as Jesus points that out, just be with that sometime and just observe it. Like, don't try to get away from it, because that's what we do. We want to project it out. We want to tell a story about it. I don't know. We want to take it to church. Somehow we want to hang on to it. And rather than doing that, just get curious. We're talking of curiosity now. We're in the curious kids on the beach mode. This is I've never seen this before. Like, look at it like you've never seen it before and go, I'm just going to take a look and just ask the light, okay, take me to the basement. Let's look what's under it. And start to notice, if you're really present with it, that's what he's showing me. This is supreme happiness right here. When you see the infinity in what you thought was a denial. Which you thought was, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in hell right now. You just stay with that. Just kind of notice you're asking for the miracle and say, show me the full extent of all the love that's in this. It's been denied in this. And you'll be addicted to miracles, a new addiction, an addiction to what's true rather than what's false. So expansive, so happy. Just a suggestion, see if we can see what happens. So we were talking about, speaking about being separate, we're continuing chapter 20. and enjoying the love that's here, that's shared with all these mighty, shining mighties that have brought their light and their support. I mean, the support in this group is just off the rails. It's like I said in that post today, it's like, oh my gosh, when Jesus said you're going to get mighty companions, it's like I had no idea. I didn't want anybody to help me on that. I don't need help from those people out there. And then you see, oh my gosh, I'm so, you're so blessed to have all these mighties coming. So you need him, you need him like Jesus. We need Jesus. We joke around here, but it keeps it light, so that this looking doesn't seem so traumatic, right? We start with the light and see that the light's not having a problem with looking. And then we have one arm up to Jesus and one arm sideways, holding on to that mighty companion. Just keep us pointing up. So we're going to look at, you believe you can be separate from your true reality. That's from the Course in Miracles, right? These beliefs that he's showing in chapter 20. Thus, you desire an experience of being separate from your true reality. We've talked about that. So we can ask the light, start with the light. The light of divine being and honesty of God, do we desire, or is there a desire in consciousness below our level of awareness to have an experience of being separate from reality? And here the lights. You can hear the light say, yep. Okay, so we just admit it. And then we can just ask for a miracle because we want to be separate. We laugh about that here too, because we see it. We start seeing, oh, I want that itch to live in my own little fiefdom of unhappiness and live in that world where miracles, which are natural, infinite love, we're talking infinite, unchanging, supreme happiness here. So we like dabbling with the devil, but so let's just look under the desire for the experience of being separate. What's under that? When we look with the light, what's under there? What's driving that bus? We can ask Jesus to show us that desire, that like itch for wanting separation, so we can recognize it when it's rising. You show it to me. I ask for a miracle to change that perception that separation's even possible. In the light of divine being and honesty of God, when we look as the light, can we find any separation in the light? Is there anywhere in there where there's something divided? So we want to keep looking as the light because we're so used to looking and playing in what we're looking at. As some teachers will say, look, who's looking? Who's noticing? What's noticing? And is there an object looking around at everything? Is there an object here? So instead of following the little thought rats around down the little rat holes all over, and the little stories and little mushroom clouds of ideas and back current eddies of thought, we just start noticing what's noticing thought. What's noticing those emotions? Is that an object that notices? Can we find that object in there? And then see that object, that what's noticing, has the profound insights on any question we could ask. The first question is, are we that? Light. The ego's going to go, but it goes, you can hear, yeah, there's something here. It's like, it's limitless. Is the light limitless in our direct experience as light beings? Yet we ask the light, do we like playing like we're not infinite? Can't get away from the truth of the light. But Then that's honesty of God. Okay, we're admitting we want this experience being separate from true reality. So let's ask what the true reality is in the light of divine being and honesty of God. I love this. It's just so joyful to check in and see that is light the true reality that we can hear. The light speaks to us. Or is our only true reality light? Pure, choiceless awareness, and see what the light says about it. Just notice what's unlimited and unchanging before all thought. Remembering what Jesus says in lesson 44, and some of those lessons, just drop all thoughts, all emotions, all feelings, and just drop them. And what's left? And notice there's no thing. And then it becomes really the contrast between no thing, perfect peace, and the mind noise that arises, that we like to dive into the pool of and fantasy. But then now we have the contrast, and we can tell where we're jumping into the pool of death. The desire for experience. So let's just ask the light and honesty of God. Again, do we desire an experience of being separate from the light? And we go until Jesus says we don't have that desire anymore. See, we're going to ask, do we need the light's help to uncover all the desires below our level of awareness to give the light? We laugh about the boot out of awareness. See, we're trying to boot it out of awareness through desire for else, other. We can ask the light yet. Is there, does a desire for something else push light out of our awareness? Yet, is it possible not to be light in honesty? This is why this means is just so vast. See, Jesus is all about, isn't he? We ask the light, is the light about saving time? Light's not looking to extend out the timeline at all for the recognition of light. Does the light have a checklist of all the things we need to do to see that we're light? In our direct experience, can we find a checklist in there where the light's going, okay, now, here's your, it's really beautiful that Jesus says in a new covenant that he gives steps, because in A Course in Miracles, he's given steps because we're so conditioned for steps. You see, the ego likes the steps. So, okay, the ego likes a project. He gives the ego a project. He gives us a project because we're consciousness, okay? He likes these little steps and all. So he gives that. He says, okay, now you're going to have a function. You're going to be a miracle worker. So he can try to turn that wheel focus from miscreating suffering to miracle mindedness. We're always looking for a miracle. He changes focus to look for the miracle always. And that's teaching us how to look for the opportunity to experience love, rather than our old habit of looking for the opportunity to send ourselves directly to hell through objective experience. So we ask the light, okay, I'm willing to see every desire below my level of awareness, because now we see that we're light and nothing's going to happen. See, that's the big game. The big game is, if I look, I'm going to blow up and die. That's the consciousness game. We can ask the light, is that the game in consciousness, to pretend like something bad's going to happen if we look deeply in the basement? So whenever we feel the slightest disturbance, just go right to the basement for a miracle. Jesus, I'll meet you in the basement. Let's go have a miracle. So I can see that it's nothing. In the light of divine being, is anything that arises in consciousness real? In our direct experience as light beings, we can look in there, look in the light. Is there anything that touches the light of being? Okay, here's the Course in Miracles. You believe your origin is open to belief. You desire an experience where your origin is open to belief. Who's your daddy thing? That the source is open to belief. Let's ask the light. Is the light know anything about beliefs in the light of divine being? Can we find any in there? Now, we've looked before. It's good to look many times because we're so habituated to the idea that what we believe, that what our conviction is that we're separated because we desire to experience separation. And in order to experience separation, we have to have a belief under that we come from somewhere else other than the light. So it's good to straighten that out too. In the light of divine being and honesty of God, do we come from anywhere except light? Can we find a way to have an origin outside of infinite, unchanging light? Yet as long as those beliefs exist and the desire for experience is below our level, what we're aware of, every experience we have will feel like we've lost light, that we've been denied light, that we can basically usurp the power of God and not be light. So we just check in. I love this. Is there any way that we can't be light? No matter what's arising in consciousness, can we not be infinite, unchanging light? Is there any way for that to be possible? So this is really great. The light training is really great because you go to the light first. See that whatever's arising is abjectly impossible to impact the light. So we can see that we have a desire to be impacted by that light is not our origin, that we're not light. So we can ask for a miracle. Jesus, show me the desire, any energy around having my origin be open to beliefs. If that's there, then we just ask for a miracle. Anywhere in there, Jesus, I'm looking. Oh, he always reminds me this. Every time I say one of these, he says, whenever you do not follow me, you are supporting the belief that your origin is open to belief. See, because Jesus is the voice of our origin, the voice of who we are, true voice. So if we're not following our true voice, then we're following the investment that we can be separate from God. And that's why we call it the avoiding following the Holy Spirit like the plague. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. No matter what, if the Spirit tells me to come or do something or whatever, we're going to find the play in consciousness that denies that the light's already here is going to find a way not to do it, distract from it, go sideways. And all the light is offering is perfect happiness. Let's ask the light of divine being in honesty of God. Is the light offering us anything other than light? Doesn't offer anything other than love. You can just see it. And until it's recognized that the only way to supreme happiness is unequivocal, yes, sir, Jesus, what's next? And that feeling horrible, like we're in hell consistently, is saying no to that light until that switch, that decision in mind's made. This path will be very long and hard. We can ask the light that. It can't even be sometimes Jesus. Well, it can be sometimes Jesus because the light doesn't force anything. See that the light's not forcing anything. But as he says, the curriculum is a required course, and then we kind of dabble around with the timeline. But then just ask the light. In the light of divine being, is that timeline suffering and pain and fear? It's the addiction to all those experiences rather than being the light. And we can ask the light that, is that addiction? Are those things, fear and pain and suffering, all a desire to deny infinite light? So the secret here is, and he points to it, is that consciousness loves these experiences, pain, even though it would say, I don't like that. I don't like being in pain. It loves being in pain. As soon as we start looking really deeply with Jesus, and several of you, we've had these talks too, these one-on-one joinings, which are really, again, encouraging everyone, where we look at beliefs and desires, and you start looking with Jesus and you just see that itch. How much we really, I don't know who I was talking to just a couple of days ago, and they're saying, you know, I really want this. I like it. But that's honesty of God. That's what we want to be saying. See, because when we're not admitting to how much we really like these things, then we're denying that we're denying divinity, see? So at least we get to the point where we can admit that we're denying the light and we don't want the light. That's the way out. That we do want to be a person and stuff ourselves into a shoe, an infinite being, and just go, I'm going to try to jam myself in there the best way I can. And it's going to hurt. You do not believe there's another way of perceiving. You desire to miscreate an experience where you have forgotten there's another way of perceiving and thus place true perception out of your awareness. Let's ask the light. Is there a desire to miscreate an experience, to put true perception out of awareness? And see what the light says. Recognition of light always, and holistic perception. Rather than foreign objects, we just perceive everything in the wholeness. We can ask the light, it'll be honest, do we see everything in wholeness? And it will tell us where we do not perceive in wholeness. So let's ask about this desire. Is there any desire not to perceive in wholeness? Please show it to me, Jesus. Just place that energetic itch for not perceiving in wholeness in the light for a miracle. We can just admit that we don't want it, don't want to see in wholeness. And yet we can see in the light. Does the light see in any kind of partiality, or does it see in wholeness? Yeah, see that the light sees in wholeness and completion. You give only because you believe you're somehow getting something better. What a play in consciousness that one is, isn't it? You desire to miscreate an experience where if you give with the expectation, you will somehow be getting something better. This is a helpful thing to see through here. You desire an experience that if you give, you will get something better in the future. See how getting something better, giving, how that causes like that bifurcation. It goes like this. If I give this, and you hear this commonly in the culture, you know, I'll give and then the universe will give me something back. Do you see that? That just immediately creates the experience of timeline. It goes bing. Let's talk. So it's helpful to see in the light of divine being and honesty of God, is giving the same as receiving? See how the light doesn't give on a timeline? Is there any delay in the light between giving and receiving? See, we know this. We know there's no gap in giving and receiving. They're the same because everything's total. It just gives. Is there any limit to giving in the light? Feel that feeling. Is there any limit to receiving in the light of divine being? Can we find one? That's why supreme happiness is in that. It's just giving and receiving as it is, whole and complete. It's in the nature of divine being is giving and receiving, extending all that is, unceasingly, unlimited, without limit. So let's ask to put that idea, the miscreation of giving and receiving being bifurcated, pulled apart. It's ripping ourselves into shreds is what that does. Can you see that? We're going to have an experience of being ripped in by separating out the if then on giving, then I'll receive. Do you see? Can you feel that? It feels, you really start to notice that bifurcation that creates the idea of two in giving and receiving. You can start to feel how totally and painful that is, because it's a denial of divine being. So we can ask Jesus, okay, that idea, you are somehow getting something better. What's better than light? Jesus, show me the desire for that experience to give, to get something better, the give to get. Because if we really feel how icky that feels, you know, getting something better, like the heaviness of that energy, and just put that whole complex of giving to get in the box of love, infinite love, and see what love does with it. Does infinite light know anything about giving and getting? Anything about a getting mechanism? No wonder we can't relax. Okay, relax, because we're looking for the next thing to get. I know that was the experience after I've been doing the course for a while. I'd be having a conversation and I felt like a predator. I felt like, I can't even explain that, but you might know what I'm talking about. You suddenly start seeing the projection, that predator going out and just sitting down to have a conversation with somebody and wanting something. Like that itch for wanting something seemingly from someone else. Do you see? You couldn't just be and let them be. No, you have to like want something from them. It's like you start saying that is the death. That's falling on your sword, actually. It's death. To want, where you give to get. Like we're giving, it's the self. Totality given exactly as it is, right here in totality. Is there any limit on giving in the light of divine being? Infinite beings, giving and receiving everything given by the Father. So any kind of feeling, it's good to put that in the light. Let the light, we'd call it the light handshake. The belief, that desire for the experience of splitting out, giving and receiving in the light. The light dissolve that idea. It feels terrible. Okay, now we go to you believe. Here we go. A little more on getting something better in the future, but you believe you must give to get. The horse trading. Oh my God, thank you for holy relationship. That whole idea to sit next to your brother. And how many relationships have we had where we negotiated, if you give me this, I'll give you that? And really see how awful that feels. That is compromise. I mean, Jesus says another word for compromise, but that is compromising divine being. especially in relationships. Like, I remember this thing, well, if you go with me to the football game, which you really don't want to do or whatever, I'll do that. Do you see how that creates it's impossibility? Let's look in the light. Is the light looking around and they're going, okay, does the light asking us to give something? So we have to give something. So we're going to get something from the light. Can you see? Oh my gosh, it just hurts even thinking about it. The impossibility of that, the whole world's belief in fairness. See, I think I told the story one time, which is hilarious. That when I was little, and there's 7 kids. So my mom would weigh out all the snacks after school. And she set them out on the cabinet because 7 kids would come home like a swarm of bees. Land on those snacks. I mean, talk about living scarcity. We'd still go weigh each one to see if that's what we're doing all the time. Consciousness is playing that game of weighing things out. Well, let me just look at all the alternatives and, am I going to get enough? You desire an experience where you experience giving is essential to getting. Let's ask Jesus about that. Do you desire an experience where do I desire an experience where giving is essential to getting? And offer that to the light to straighten us out. Straighten our minds out on that. That's just death. Oh my God. Let's ask the light. Is that death to have a desire to experience giving as essential to getting? And we've heard the stories before, the language patterns in consciousness, not to judge them, but to really learn from them when they're rising, like, I give you everything. You're giving me nothing. You see that game? I've given and given and given and given, and I'm not getting anything. That's the play. When infinite light is not saying, God's not coming in and saying, I give you everything and you're giving me nothing. Does the light say that? The light's not saying that. The light just is, because we're everything already. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, we'll do one last one here, because it relates. It's part of giving to get. It's that trying to cut consciousness up into a little pie and make sure everybody gets a fair piece of it. That was the same argument. Come home, and mom would make some kind of great thing, and you just try to dive in there first, because there wasn't going to be enough cake for everybody. This is the play, not having enough. You believe in scarcity. You desire to experience scarcity. So let's ask the light. Is there any desire below my level of awareness to experience scarcity? That there's not enough of something. Please show me, Jesus. I can ask for a miracle on that. The wanting of it, that itch for scarcity. Show me any experiences where I've just, start delivering them out really. For forgiveness, how much we really itch that scarcity. It's something somehow is limited. Money. How much does consciousness play the not enough money card? Not enough love card. My spouse, significant other, children, not giving me enough. Not contributing enough. And then on the other side, then we look at what we've done and go, I haven't given enough. Do you see that play there? I've not given enough. I'm not doing enough. And see that infinite being just is, because it is. We're lovable because, I love that Muji says that, you're lovable because you are. Your totality, complete, every toto. When you buy something in Mexico and you finish with the thing, you finish picking out all the things, you say it's toto. We're total, done. We're already done. In the light of divine being, can we find one little iota in there of scarcity? Or request for us to do anything for light, what we already are? Do we have to do one iota of a thing to recognize and to be light right now? Can we find that anywhere? So we ask for a miracle for the desire to experience scarcity. Any kind of lack or limitation. Ask for a miracle. How could we ever be supremely happy? We can ask the light, as long as the belief that there's scarcity and the desire for experience of scarcity, which is going to show up every time we go to do something. Well, you see that limitation filter is going to be on. There won't be enough. There won't be enough food. You know, there won't be enough time. Time, that's a favorite one, right? The ego likes to play the time card. There won't be enough. You see that limitation, the limitation of something missing and something not enough. Not enough time with your spouse, not enough. Everything seems short. That's why we keep looking at the light and see the light's not short anything. Is the light short of anything? Is there anything missing in there? Jesus, I ask you for a miracle, for the desire. Show me all the desires for the experience of scarcity. That's what our brothers are for, to show us where we believe in scarcity, where we believe we have to give to get, where we believe in desire and experience. If we give, we're given to get something better. That's the gift of our brother, to show us all those things so that we can ask quickly for a miracle. So we thank you for joining with us. So much love in this. So much love and deep gratitude. Love from San Juan Kosala. Big, big hugs. This one too. We're holding on to the mighties. And Jesus, up with Jesus, on to the mighty and go.